Okay, so the things which we are going to cover in this video, first of all, I am going to give you a live demo of components, like how the components are communicating with each other, like component A and component B. Then I'll give you the practical implementation. I'll tell you what all steps you need to take in order to make this communication happen. Then the third thing, I'll be giving you one task which you can perform to deepen into this particular concept of communicating from child to like communicating between these like different components. So let's begin. Yeah, here is the functionality, like these are the two components, component A and component B, which I have placed on the service apps home page, right? On this home page I have placed it. So in this component A, there is an input box and there is a send button. When I'll write something in this hello, like hello I am writing, and clicking on send message button, then it's sending the message to component B itself. So this is what happening over here, right? So whenever I'll type something here, like hello to component A, component B, and I'll click on send message button, it will send the message to component B, which is a different or a separate component. So these two components, component A and component B, are not parent child to each other. They are two different components, but they are able to communicate using the concept which is lightning messaging service. Now, how this is taking place, let's understand that first. So between these two components, component A and component B, there is a channel I have created, right? So what that channel is doing, this component A, as you can see, is sending the message, is acting as a publisher which is sending some information, and component B is receiving the information. It is acting as a subscriber. What it is subscribing to, what it is publishing to, that let me tell you that. So the component A, one component, is basically publishing the message to the channel which I have created, which is acting as an intermediate, and this channel is sending all that particular information at that particular time itself to all the subscriber component. Those components which have subscribed to this channel will receive that particular published information. So this is what taking place over here. This component A is publishing the information when I am clicking on send message button, and then component B is able to receive it through the channel which is what I can say, distributing or sending all that information from which it had received to all the subscriber components like component B. So let's see like how this whole thing happens practically. For implementing it practically, the step number 1 is to create a channel. You can see over here in this Visual Studio Code sidebar, you can see one folder which is message channels folder. This is the folder you have to create. Like there is an LWC folder, there is a classes folder which stores Apex classes, LWC folder stores Lightning Web Components. The same way you have to create in the default folder message channels folder with the same name, same case, exact whole spelling, no change, no change of case, no change of any other thing, right? So you have to make sure that the folder name should be exact same. Within this folder there will be multiple channels we can create, multiple files for channels. Like I have created one here because this single file is acting as a channel which I have talked about. So this channel file within this message channels folder you have to create. Then this particular file name should be the name, whatever the name you want to give, dot, then you can see here like I have given here the name component communication channel dot, and after that you have to use message channel, exact same case, same spelling, no change will be considered, right? So here message channel dash meta dot xml, this is the extension you have to use. Before dot you can use anything, before the first dot you can use any name. After that you have to use dot message channel dash meta dot xml. This is something which you have to follow. Within this channel file, you'll be seeing metadata configuration. As this is an, like in every XML file within these all things, you'll find this particular line number 1. Like in LWC component also, you'll find the same line, LWC components XML file, or like Apex class XML file. Any metadata file will consist of this particular single line, which specifies the version and the encoding. And after that, you will be understanding that you can see that this particular thing is representing the channel itself, message channel tag. And then we have used this URL and all, and there is a description provided. Is expose is true, master label is communication, like component communication channel, right? So these are the 3 things, or this is the code which should be there in this file. You can take this code from any website as well, like metadata developer, on developer guide also this is mentioned. If you'll go to metadata file, then you'll find this particular code, or you can go to component library and you can search there messaging service. There also you'll be able to see the message service code example, and the whole code will be there. That is not important here. The important thing is to understand the concept, how it is working, how the whole thing you need to use, what all steps you need to do to implement this whole communication thing, right? So this is the file thing which you have to create in step number 1. Now the step number 2 is to set up the publisher component. Then we'll be setting up in the step number 3 the subscriber component. So the publisher component is component A in our case. So let's see here in the LWC folder, there is a component A folder, inside which there is a simple HTML, there is a card which is having a title component A, and there is an icon standard : custom. So that is what shown in the UI as well. Component A is the title and there is an icon before it, you can see. So after that, there is a div inside the lightning card, which is in which we are using an margin class, SLDS class for margin around means across the whole div, like top, bottom, left, right. And within the div there is a input tag where the user is going to write down the message right here. This is the input box, and then there is a button used here. On click of this button, there will be a handle button click will get called. This particular method will get called. In the JS file, we have defined this method. In this method, the first thing we are doing is to querying lightning input box value. Whatever the user will be typing there in that input box, that value we are querying. How we are querying? We are using this template dot query selector, and then the tag name, the component name, which is lightning dash input dot value, and that is getting assigned to this variable, constant variable, which is message input. And there is a payload here, which is message : message input, right? So this is something which is over here. And now after that, we are simply calling this publish method. Now what is this publish method? And also you might be facing difficulty to understand what is this payload and all. So let me tell you about these 2 lines. So in order to make this component a publisher component, we need to import few of the things. What all those things are? We have to import, okay, so we need to import the publish method and message context. Publish method is used to send the information from this component A to the channel, and message context is used to get the information of the component which is using to get the information of lightning web component which is using this lightning message service, right? So that is what it do, message context. And it is a wire adapter. Basically wire adapter I am saying because it can only be called from the wire decorator. That's why we are importing wire decorator as well. At the very top you can see, along with lightning element, we are importing wire decorator from the LWC module. The reason being because we need to call this message context, which is going to get the information of the lightning web component, right? And then in the next line, the third line, we are importing the channel itself, like the file which we have created. Basically the file is representing a channel. So that we are importing from this module lightning @salesforce slash message channel module, and within this we have to use this name of the channel underscore underscore c. Underscore underscore c is we are using because we have created a custom one, a custom channel. Like how we have created? Simply by creating this file. Make sure that this particular folder, message channel folder, is deployed, right? Once you are creating message channels and then this file, then deploy this first before using this channel, this particular component. If you are not deploying this first and directly using and deploying the other components, that's not going to work. It's going to throw an error that this particular channel does not exist. So make sure this particular thing should be deployed first. Now continuing, what I was saying is in the publisher component in the JavaScript, I was telling about, like, yeah, this particular channel you have to import, right? This line will only gonna work if you have deployed that particular channel folder, message channels folder. And yeah, after that, like, you have to, like, in the component class you have to use @wire in order to call the message context, and whatever we are receiving we are storing into this message context property, and then we are utilizing it right here in this handle button click method. Now let's continue the explanation of this particular handle button click method. So in this method we are assigning the input value to this variable, constant variable message input. Then we are creating a payload object. I have just given it a payload name to this variable, right? You can give anything else as well, that's completely up to you. There is no necessity to give this same name, exact same name, but this format should be followed. This should be, the data should be in the form of object, right, curly braces, and then the key value pairs. Multiple key value pairs also you can give, or single key value pair you can give. I have given only single message key here. You can use any other thing as well. You can use short form as well, but when you are accessing this data, then also you have to use the same key, right? So message I have given, then this value from the whatever the user will be typing, that I have assigned to it. After that, now finally publish method, we are calling the publish method. While calling the publish method, or while defining the publish calling the publish method itself, we need to pass three values. First value is the message context, which we are receiving from the wire decorator, and then that is assigned into this property. That's why I have used this dot, the property name, which is message context. After that, in the second parameter, we have to specify the channel name, which is component communication channel. This is the channel name, right? This is what we have specified over here. After that, we have to specify the payload, the information. Payload represents information which we want to send to the channel, and channel will send it to the subscribers. So this is all about the publisher component. Now we'll move ahead and understand what all setup we need to do in the subscriber component, in the component B, in order to receive the information from the channel. So here in the component B, there is a HTML file where we have used lightning card, given the title as component B, and there is an icon, as you can see here in this UI as well. Then we have div, which is having a class. We have div, and which is using a class, same class like margin given using SLDS class. Then there is an component we are using lightning formatted text. We can use para tag as well, but I have used this particular component, and we have assigned a receive, whatever the message we are going to receive, we have assigned that into the value attribute, value property. So this is what we had done. Now this received the message property we have obviously declared here in the JavaScript of component B, which is initially assigned with this no message received yet, right? No message received yet. Okay, here I'll refresh the page. You can see initially we are seeing that only. We are seeing this only, right? Yeah, so now how it is receiving the message? Because we have defined couple of things. Like first of all, we have imported the wire decorator again, which is going to use to call the message context wire adapter. And in the second line, we have imported subscribe method and message context wire adapter, right? You can see @wire adapter, yeah. And more details while hovering, you can see all the information. Okay, so subscribe we have imported, message context we have imported from the module which is lightning/messaging service, message service. This is the module name from which we need to import publish method. All of the methods, publish, subscribe, message context, and many other methods are defined in this module, so we can import them. Subscribe method is used to subscribe to the channel. Once we are subscribed, then we'll be receiving the notification. When you subscribe to your YouTube channel, then only you receive the notification, like you have subscribed to Salesforce channel. Then only you'll be receiving new videos notification. The same way here also we have to subscribe, right? So here we have like in the third line we have imported the channel, which is component communication channel. And then there is a component B, which is the name of the component, like over here, like class name, which is extending to lightning element. Let's move ahead. Here the first two lines are calling the message context wire adapter, and whatever we'll be receiving, we'll be storing into this message context property. Then we have created a subscription property, which is initially null. Why we had created it? Because there will be a problem if we will be subscribing again and again to the channel, single channel. If we are subscribing multiple times, then that is going to create a problem. So in order to avoid it, we will be putting a condition once the subscription is done, so that another time if even after that the same method for subscription is getting called, the same method will not get called basically. So I'll show you what exactly the logic behind that. And there is a property, this received message, which is displaying the message from the different component to this on the UI itself, right? It is displaying that. Now connected callback, this is the lifecycle hook which get called when the component get connected with UI, with the page. So that is the here. So here we are first of all checking this dot subscription, is it null? If yes, then only we will be entering here, and subscribe method will get called with 3 parameters again. First parameter, which is a message context, providing the component information itself. Second one, which is like a component communication channel, which is just channel itself, because without having the address, how we can send the message or subscribe to that particular address, right? So the channel we have to provide, so that like subscribe method will get to know, okay, to this particular channel we need to subscribe. After that, the third thing, which is the listener method, we are passing a method here, right? Arrow, I have used a syntax like this. You can use a normal syntax as well, like function, and then this is also you can use. There is no problem in this. Just to like shorten this, I have passed this, right, syntax. This is also a function itself, arrow function, which we are passing. So when this function will get called, this function definition we are passing here, like payload will get called, and then like this whole function will get called, and then it will receive some payload, some information. From where? From the subscriber, from the channel, and then this send, we are calling this handle message. So this whole function which we are passing in the third argument will get called with, will listen the notifications. This is going to do the job of listening the notification and acting accordingly. So whenever the notification, whenever the information will come from the channel side, whenever publisher will send the message to the channel, and channel will gonna send it to all the subscribers, one function will get called. Which function? This function which we are passing here. And it will be, when this function will get called, it will be having some data, right? So I have specified that data name as payload, and this is going to call handle message. Handle message we have defined below. What handle message is doing? It's simply assigning the payload dot message. Because why we are using dot message here? Because you can see payload we have defined it with an object which is having a key message. Exact same spelling we have to use here, message, right? So payload dot message is getting assigned to this property, received message property, and that is displayed in the UI like this. Let's see here in the component A, I'll type something hello again, and I'll click on send message, and I am receiving the message. Very simple. Now I'll be like this whole concept, I think it's clear. Now I'll be telling you the task which you need to do. Basically what you need to do is you simply have to reverse the whole process. What process I am talking about? In this example I am sending the message from component A to component B, right? Now you have to do this, plus now you have to send the component message from component B to component A and check if it is working or not. Try experimenting with it, like create component C as well and try include that as well in this publish subscribe kind of thing, so that you'll deepen in your concept, right? Your concept will get strengthened. So that's all from this video. Hope you understood the concept of how different components communicate with each other using Lightning messaging service. If you did, then make sure to like this video and subscribe to Salesforce Help channel for more such insightful content.